Good evening and welcome to the Single Parent Show, brought to you by Christ Our Shepherd Ministries. I am La Petite Dees and I will be conducting this segment of the show. We are very blessed and very fortunate to have Dr. Jessica Bohon. She is the owner of Nations Family Chiropractic Center. She's also been in practice now for 2 years, and you've studied under Ben Lerner. And he is a very renowned, popular speaker, and he also has a top seller book, Body by God. Yes, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about your background.
I was in Florida. I actually practiced in Florida, did my internship with him. Absolutely phenomenal, Maximize Living mentor. And what he's brought us up with how to get our bodies back to the way God designed with proper nutrition, which I did speak last week on with the nutrition. Yes. And then now with this one is proper exercise. Just stuff that is very just easy and simple that we can do together as families, and just to bring health back to our children, and just stuff that we can incorporate together.
Yes, we are very blessed to have you returning to the show.
Thank you.
What are some of the things that you are faced with? You hear parents saying, oh, I can't get Johnny to eat the proper nutrients, the proper vegetables, and being able to incorporate the two, as you stated, exercise and good health. What are some of those challenges and some of those creative measurements that we can enforce as parents?
Okay. Yeah, I hear it. There's not a day goes by that I don't hear that from my patients. It's just because we try to implement small things first.
Sure.
You never want to take away from a kid, and because that could be really bad. But you just have to tell them why. I think that's the most important is us as parents talking to our kids is implement the reasons and the benefits of why it is that we're making these changes. It's to better our health. It's to implement, bring it back as your body is a vessel for the Lord. We want to make sure that we're healthy so we can serve our purpose and that we can help more people. And so it's always, and I always tell people is that you live for 3 and you're last. And so what it is, you live for God first, and you want to keep the vessel pure. And then number 2 is for your family. You have to be healthy for your kids, because if something happens to us, then they're not going to have a mommy or a daddy, and then they have to be healthy, because if something happens to them, then that affects us as well.
That responsibility. Now, what about? I'm sure it's a lot easier to give these directives to an older kid. But what about the toddlers? You've got the little people that you're saying, no, you have to eat, and most of them hate the green vegetables, like especially spinach.
Absolutely.
And so what are some of the approaches that maybe a viewer can implement for a younger child?
It's not easy with the youngest, but it's always, and what I spoke a little bit about on, instead of taking things away that what they're used to eating, is adding small things just here and there. So just trying to add something, just be like, here, would you like to try this? And if they don't push them, just kind of take these baby steps. But it's all about if we do it, and if we're leaders, and if we lead them, and if they see mommy or daddy doing it, I think that it's going to encourage them to, because they look up to you, as role models. And so if you're doing it, if you're talking good about this is yummy food, this is healthy food, then it's going to encourage them to be more like you and to be healthy. But it all goes back to, with the toddlers or the babies, I know it's hard to educate them and to tell them why to eat it. But I think if you just kind of be positive about it and just be like, this is yummy, this is good for you. Because they still know what you're saying, whether or not they can talk. It's just you're still speaking into their life and just being optimistic and just speaking more positive things.
Exercise. One of the things that you hear when we were growing up, kids love to exercise. I mean, you got off the bus, you got home from carpool, and you couldn't wait to get out and play with your friends. And now I think the computer games, the videos have really, really robbed and deprived our children of that. What are some of the creative ways? Because kids now will bring notes to school and doctor notes, and stop writing notes to kids, and parents stop, telling the kids, oh, you don't have to exercise. How does that deprive children from being able to grow physically and mentally, not having that exercise piece enforced?
it literally robs them of their life. And because when you don't exercise, like you said, we used to exercise. I used to ride my bike all the time and didn't even consider it exercise. That's just what you did.
It was fun.
You walked home from the bus, you walked to your friend's house. But we don't do that anymore. But number one, I think that it truly goes back to the parents, because we need to encourage our kids, turn the television off.
Yes.
And don't keep buying the games because it's a lot of the times I feel that because we live in a very stressed out environment, and
Very
instead of,
so.
taking with our kids and spending that time, it's a whole lot easier to just put him in front of a PlayStation, him or her, and let them do that. But you have to take in consideration that, that's a lack of exercise, and motion equals life. And so if these kids aren't exercising, then of course they're going to be building more fat cells. They're going to be like some of the symptoms of lack of exercise when you don't have, oxygen, we're made primarily up of oxygen in our body. So if you're not incorporating that into your lifestyle every single day, that's whenever we get sick. That's whenever our kids have a poor immune system, allergies, sinuses, headaches. Our kids are depressed because that lack of energy and oxygen for the brain.
Yes.
Then the brain can't heal the body. Sure. And then the thing with me, and what I see a lot with kids that are obese, a lack of confidence. And so, that right there, them starting so early, being obese at 5 or 6 years old, where are they going to be at 17,
right.
18? So I think that parents should definitely focus on future, not the now. Because they may, be 50 pounds overweight right now, but where are they going to be whenever they're, teenagers or older? What does that look like for their confidence and their being? And then that's when we start to rely on medications, antidepressants to get us through the day. And for me, and my personal belief is that's a disconnect between God and us. Like we can heal at 100%, but we have to be as healthy internally as we possibly can.
And that depressing issue.
It's
yes, it is.
Yes,
and going back to our era, you didn't hear, it was a rarity. It was probably a 2 or 3% ratio. And now there's so many kids that are depressed. And a lot of times it goes back into lack of exercise.
Yeah.
Now, what are some ways that we can get them away from the computer games? I think it's imperative that parents sign kids up for various sports. Not only, that's another subject that hopefully you'll come back at another time.
Absolutely.
But, just being able to really get them, encouraged to join soccer groups, basketball, swim groups. What are some other approaches that maybe a parent say, oh, but I can't get him or her to exercise, to go out? You mentioned bicycle riding. What are some other things that they could do possibly?
Definitely. Try to get them involved in groups and organizations. But if the kids are pretty much, if they like to play the video games and they've already made it in their head that, because if they're not used to working out and going outside and playing, it's not going to be, okay, let's just go up and let's just play, because they're not used to that. That's not engraved into their nerve system to go out and do that. Yes. But if the parents are just like, okay, Johnny, what we're going to do is after we eat, we're going to go walk 15, 20 minutes around the neighborhood, or let's go to the park and feed the ducks, or, just encourage them. But it's everything is back to the parent, and it's just taking charge and really seeing that, okay, this is, I'm stressed out, I'm tired, I just got home from an 8-hour, day, but this is for my child, this is for their health, this is for their future. And so after we eat, what we're going to do is we're going to go outside and just encourage them, let's go outside and play together. Let's go outside and, play basketball. And then whenever you're doing that, that's fellowship, that you're coming closer with your kids. Sure. And it's the kids that are the less troubled kids, per se, because kids that don't get in trouble at school, kids that are making good grades, those are the kids that know that they're loved, respected. A lot of them have great family lives, with their moms or their fathers, just being involved.